Welcome, everyone. I'm the Reverend William Levwood, minister here at Accotink Unitarian Universalist Church. My pronouns are he and him. As we begin our service, I invite you to close your other windows or apps and devices. Take a deep breath and center yourself for worship. We begin by calling forth the ancestors and descendants. We call forth the ancestors, the people who made each of us, the biological ancestors, spiritual ancestors, teachers, and guides. We call forth those who imagined and made this congregation possible and who have sustained it up to this present day. We open and welcome to the ancestral people of this land, acknowledging that our church, like all of Burke, rests on the unceded territory of the Manahoac tribe of the Great Sioux Nation. And we seek healing with the people of this land, whose bodies and spirits live on in their descendants, the present-day members of the Monacan Indian Nation, the Patawomic Indian tribe of Virginia, and the Piscataway Indian Nation. With this, let us open to the longings and hopes of all the descendants of all nations, that we might live for them today, honoring the ancestors as we move toward healing, so that all the descendants together shall one day know full justice. We light our chalice this morning, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith tradition. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the loving heart. This is the church of the helping hands.
We welcome you to Accotink Unitarian Universalist Church live stream worship service. I am Brenna Clanton. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm happy to be your worship associate today. Accotink UU is a welcoming and inclusive community that seeks to create a more just and compassionate world. All are welcome here in this justice-seeking, earth-healing community of faith. You are welcome no matter who you love, no matter your identity or heritage, no matter your beliefs or background, no matter your means or abilities. You are welcome here in this religious community. In order to best welcome you, we want to know who you are. Please be sure that your full name is listed on your Zoom name tag. If you don't know how to do that, put a note in the chat and one of our co-hosts will make you a Zoom name tag. If you are new to Accotink and would like to talk more about this church, please be sure to reach out to me, our minister, Reverend William Levwood, or one of today's greeters using the chat box. On our website, www.accotinkuu.org, you can check the online order of service on the worship section. While you are on the website, be sure to check our events page for upcoming virtual gatherings and other news. Whether you're a longtime member or a newcomer or something in between, we encourage you to stay for our virtual coffee hour immediately after this service. We're so delighted that you decided to join us today. Welcome. A reading by Marge Piercy, The Art of Blessing the Day. This is the blessing for rain after drought. Come down, wash the air so it shimmers, a pure perfumed shawl of lavender chiffon. Let the parched leaves suckle and swell. Enter my skin, wash me for the little chrysalis of sleep rocked in your plashing. In the morning, the world is peeled to shining.
This is the blessing for sun after long rain. Now everything shakes itself free and rises. The trees are bright as pushcart ices. Every last lily opens its satin thighs. The bees dance and roll in pollen, and the cardinal at the top of the pine sings at full throttle, fountaining.
This is the blessing for a ripe peach. This is luck made round. Frost can nip the blossom, kill the bee. It can drop a hard, green, useless nut. Brown fungus, the burrowing worm that coils and rot can, blemish it, wind crush it on the ground. Yet this peach fills my mouth with juicy sun.
This is the blessing for the first garden tomato. Those green boxes of tasteless acid the store sells in January, those red things with the savor of wet chalk, they mock your fragrant name. How fat and sweet you are, weighing down my palm, warm as the flank of a cow in the sun. You are the savor of summer in a thin red skin.
This is the blessing for political victory. Although I shall not forget that things work in increments and epicycles, and sometimes leaps that half the time fall back down. Let's not relinquish dancing while the music fits into our hips and bounces our heels. We must never forget, pleasure is as real as pain.
The blessing for the return of a favorite cat, the blessing for love return, for friends return, for money received unexpected, the blessing for the rising of the bread, the sun, the oppressed. I am not sentimental about old men mumbling the Hebrew by rote with no more feeling than one says, Gesundheit.
But the discipline of blessings is to taste each moment, the bitter, the sour, the sweet, and the salty, and be glad for what does not hurt. The art is in compressing attention to each little and big blossom of the tree of life, to let the tongue sing each fruit, its savor, its aroma, and its use.
Attention is love, what we must give children, mothers, fathers, pets, our friends, the news, the woes of others. What we want to change, we curse, and then pick up a tool. Bless whatever you can with eyes and hands and tongue. If you can't bless it, get ready to make it new. We continue with a period of meditation as that beautiful chant resonates in our bodies. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel your feet on the ground, your back, your spine reaching up. As you breathe in, I invite you to breathe in the tension that you may be feeling in this moment or have felt throughout this week, and then to breathe out release as you let the weight of the world fall off your shoulders. And continue in this way, breathing in tension and constriction, and breathing out, release. You can even tense your muscles as you breathe in and release them as you breathe out, if you'd like. We can just hold that feeling of tension in your psyche and then breathe out, release, perhaps imagining something that brings you calm and relaxation. Breathing in, tension. Breathing out, release. Breathing in, tension. Breathing out, relaxation and release. The weight of the world will always be there. You can always pick up your concerns later. It's not that it's wrong to have those concerns, but in this moment, let the weight of the world fall off your shoulders. And connect with your breath. Connect with your breath and with that inner essence that knows how to love with ease, with gentleness, with power. Connect with that inner essence and rest in that calm, peaceful wisdom that lives within you. And know that whenever you feel overwhelmed, you can connect with this inner essence. This Buddha nature that is full of love, of compassion and wisdom. Breathe in, tension. Breathe out, release. Know that at any time you can engage in this meditation, breathing in whatever tension you're feeling, breathing out, release, until you rest, until you find that place of calm and peaceful wisdom that lives within you. As we continue our service, may you know that that place of peace and wisdom, though it can be hard to find at times, is there. And place your cares and concerns. Release them into that deep love and wisdom. Amen, 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 and blessed be.
A reading by Nancy Schaefer. This making of a whole self. This making of a whole self takes such a very long time. Pieces are not sequential, nor are supplies. We work here, then there, hold up tattered fabric to the light, sew past dark intent, use all our thread. Sleeves may come before length, buttons before a rounded neck. We sew at what most needs us, and as it asks, sew again. The self is not one thing, once made, unaltered, not midnight task alone, not after other work. It's everything we come upon, make ours, all this fitting of what once was and has become.
The animated movie Soul, which was released a year ago. In that movie, the main character, Joe Gardner, has one love, one reason for living, and that's jazz music. That's playing jazz piano. But life hasn't brought success to Gardner. In the opening scene of the movie, we see him in front of a classroom of middle school band students, and cacophony fills the room as he tries desperately to keep the players in time with one another. This isn't the life that Joe wants for himself. His dream isn't to be a teacher, it's to play jazz on the piano. As the movie progresses through many twists and turns, it's gradually revealed that Joe has been missing out on much of his life. That in that narrow focus on a particular vision of what his perfect life would be, he's lost his ability to connect with others and with the world around him. Or to be more accurate, sometimes he's missing out on connecting with the life and the people around him, and other times he's thoroughly connected. He's actually nurturing the hearts and souls of those young musicians I mentioned a moment ago. It's just that he's so focused on the life he wishes he was living as a successful jazz musician that he doesn't notice all the good that he's bringing to the world. This congregation is a member of the Soul Matters Sharing Circle, which is a network of Unitarian Universalist congregations who follow the same monthly themes, with resources provided for worship, religious education, and small group ministry. Soul Matters suggests that for Unitarian Universalist, connection is what we find makes for a life well lived. And that as human beings, it's possible for us to become disconnected from our inner self, to become disconnected from the wonders of life that surround us, to become disconnected from needs greater than our own. Our Soul Matters monthly theme this month is living with intention. That theme of living with intention is at the heart of what Soul Matters is all about every month, because living with intention is about connecting with our inner self, with that still small voice within that we sang about earlier. And it's by connecting with this inner voice that we're able to connect with others, that we're able to connect with the wonder of life, that we're able to connect with needs greater than our own. In the movie Soul, Joe thinks he's in touch with his deepest passion and purpose in life, the playing of jazz piano. He lives for those moments when he gets in the zone and is transported to another place, to an experience of blissful connection through music. That is a truly beautiful thing, I can attest to myself from my own experience as a dancer. There is little better in life than when you get in that groove, in that flow state, in whatever you're doing, and the preaching preaches itself, the music plays itself, the dance dances itself, whatever it is, in that flow state, in the zone. It feels so good, so connected. But for Joe, the desire to achieve that flow state, or maybe more to the point, to be recognized as a jazz musician by having a full-time gig playing piano in a jazz ensemble, it's become something of an idol for him. He has become so focused on achieving that one goal that he's lost touch with the rest of his life. It's clear that it's keeping him from having another career with the stability that would bring to his life. It's clear that it's cost him connections with other human beings. It's clear that it's disconnected him from the impact he has on his students as a teacher. The world is passing him by, and meanwhile, he feels like a failure in life because he's so focused on making it as a jazz musician that he isn't able to be present for anything else in his life. This can and perhaps does happen to any and all of us at some moments in our lives. And New Year's resolutions, while they can be helpful in some ways, can also be an example of how this can happen to us. It isn't that it's bad to have a goal to better oneself, to be more financially stable, or to exercise more, or eat better, or accomplish a career goal. These are all good things. But if we decide that things won't be right until we achieve these goals, that our life won't really begin, as Joe puts it in the movie, until we achieve these things, then we run the risk of missing all the gifts that life is offering us right now, and all the ways that we're giving back to others too. Through a twist of fate, Joe ends up a mentor to a lost soul, soul number 22, who doesn't want to live her life. And as the movie progresses, we watch as Joe and this lost soul transform each other. Slowly, Joe reveals to the lost soul the many pleasures life has to offer each day, and in doing so, starts to connect with them himself. The small pleasures of the taste of a slice of pizza, or the song of a street musician on the subway, the gathering of community at the barber shop, a helicopter seed spiraling through the air. Joe begins to see, through his mentoring of the lost soul, he begins to see that it isn't his passion for jazz that gives his life meaning and vitality. It's the way that jazz opens him up to life, to being in the moment and appreciating all that life has to offer. That same thing, his passion for jazz, can be an idol that he becomes so focused on that it becomes a block to life, or it can be an icon that opens him up to fully appreciating and inhabiting his life. And through the movie, it starts to do that. His ability to be in the moment as an improviser, we see how it opens him to the wonders of life. And Joe begins also to see the impact he's had on his students. A successful jazz drummer thanks Joe and shares that he only came to school because of band practice. A young trombonist finds her way through middle school, that most difficult of times. She finds her way through middle school in part because Joe understands her and her love of jazz. As soon as Joe starts to release that iron grip on achieving some external measure of success, his passion for jazz can open him up to his true gift as a mentor. His responsiveness to others, it turns out, isn't something that only happens on stage with other musicians. It's also what makes him a great teacher, inspiring younger musicians to find their way in the world. There's a crucial scene in the movie when Joe has achieved his goal. He's landed an ongoing gig as a member of a quartet with a well-known saxophone player. But after the first performance with that quartet, Joe is profoundly unsettled. He realizes that achieving that goal didn't do what he thought it would do. It didn't make everything perfect in his life. He realizes he still needs to get up every morning and make breakfast. He still rides the subway, bumping into people on the way home from the gig. I wonder if in the pursuit of a goal or for some other reason, you've gotten lost in depression or anxiety, and you've lost touch with your sense of wonder, with your connection to the beauty of this imperfect, unfinished world before you. Because while it's good to have something to work towards, a goal, a dream, a vision, a passion, we can trick ourselves into thinking our worth lies in what we're able to achieve. Because even when the thing we're working to achieve is itself life-giving, if we see that goal as our sole reason for being, then we can lose our way. And life can begin to lose its juice, to dry up, to feel barren. And when that happens, we can not only lose touch, lose connection with the world, we can start to feel that there's something wrong with us as well. Imagine that most of us struggle at times to remember this, that most of us get lost sometimes thinking life will be just right whenever we reach a certain goal. When we graduate or get that promotion or find the perfect romantic partner or finally get rid of all that clutter in our house. And I feel like the pandemic has put all of us in this place of longing, a kind of desperate longing for things to get back to normal, to be able to worship together in person, to be able to spend time with our loved ones without fear, to be able to enjoy theater, concerts, art shows. I am so with you on this. I am so full of longing for all of these things. And yet I notice that this longing can trap me in a place of perpetual dissatisfaction, can make it so that I'm unable to connect with the wonders and joys of life that are still here and present. Poet Marge Piercy tells us the discipline is to taste each moment, the bitter, the sour, the sweet and the salty, the art of living, she tells us, is in compressing attention to each little and big blossom on the tree of life, to let the tongue sing each fruit, its savor, its aroma, and its use. When we're overly focused on future goals, we can lose sight of what's right before us. And this is some of what's so amazing about the Soul Matters Small Ministry Group experience. I want to talk about that for a moment. Because through the monthly themes and the suggested practices for each month, some of which I've started to share in my monthly ministers' reflections, we're able to engage in a spiritual journey together. And that journey, on that journey, we're able to stay connected to our inner self. The practices help us connect to one another, help us connect to the wonder of life, help keep us connected also to needs greater than our own. I want to encourage you, if you're not in one of these Soul Matters small groups, to consider joining one. I'd be happy to connect you to a group or connect you to someone who's in a group if you're considering it and you want to know more about it. Each month, there's an opportunity to explore the monthly theme, like last month's theme of opening to joy, or this month's theme of living with intention. And there's also suggested practices to bring that theme to life in your life. And you get to choose just one practice or one quote that speaks to you and and to live into that and explore that and see how it transforms your life or doesn't. And then to reflect in the small group with others, learning from what they're sharing and also offering your insights as gifts to others. This is what community is about. It's about journeying together so that we can offer each other connection. It isn't about achieving worldly success. It's about experiencing wholeness. It's a journey that isn't about becoming a perfect version of ourselves, but rather celebrating the beauty in ourselves and in the world that's already present. It's a journey ultimately about connecting in love. Isn't that what it's all about in the end? Connecting in love. The poet Marge Piercy, her words come to mind again when she reminds us that attention is love. Attention is love. What we must give children, mothers, fathers, pets, our friends, the news, the woes of others, and the list goes on. Because this is what it means to live with intention. With intention is to give attention, to give love, to be in deep connection with others, in deep connection with our inner self, in deep connection with needs greater than our own, in deep connection with the wonder of life. So as we journey together in this new year, may each of us, in our moments where we're alone, in our moments where we're gathered together, may we experience the wonder of connecting deeply with all that life has to offer. May we know that this is the soul of the matter, to know ourselves and our world as whole as we journey together in love. May it be so, and may we be among those who make it so. Amen, 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 and blessed be.
So we will extinguish our chalice flame. We carry within us what we kindled. The light of inspiration, warmth of compassion, the fire of commitment. May we bring these gifts into our lives and share them radiantly out in the world. I invite you to join me now in our community blessing with these words of David Bombal. This church is dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences and beneath all our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together in spite of time, death, and the space between the stars. We pause now in silent witness to that unity.
From that place of unity, from that place of shared humanity, may we journey in this new year, journeying together, connecting with each other, connecting with our deepest self, connecting with the wonder of life, and connecting in service to needs greater than our own. May it be so, and may we be among those who make it so.